right. Yeah, ladies, welcome to our second segment of Women of Excellence, women that are in business doing great things. We had a very insightful first session. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, yeah.
At least that's on now.
Yeah. So we just want to run through our second session. I mean, the first session we spoke about salary gap.
We did.
Yeah, as to
We
why
also had
women.
some really nice examples on like stories, actual events about people's misfortunes with this subject. But yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, we also tackled the other races inequalities and black woman disadvantages.
Mm-hmm.
And we covered all of that. What I would like us to now embark on is, as women, do we over or understate our profession? Do we suffer from that a bit?
I think from our last discussion, we definitely understate. I
Yeah.
don't think we overstate.
Yeah.
But I think maybe talking about like why we do that,
Yeah.
and why do people ask us to do that? I think sometimes it's not even a thing of we do it naturally. We've all seen like a confident black woman realized in her sexuality or in her power or whatever it is, and a lot of the times the world will be like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
You know, like, why is she shaking that thing?
Yeah.
You know, but it's just, there is this way that we must present ourselves, and the minute we go out of that, the world has a problem.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are people that look like us.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah. What do you think, ladies? Do you think sometimes you over, and when do we over state our profession? I think we'd like to do that when we are the women, like, oh, I can do this, I can do it. But when we're men, sometimes it's just a bit different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, almost like wanna downplay it.
I just do this little thing.
Yeah. Nobody's coming here and confidently saying, I am this and this and that. And you know what? My journey for 2022 is to say it for myself
Yeah.
and for the other woman.
Yeah.
And if we actually say, Opuzamans, that's where I am right now. Is because we don't say it. We
Yeah.
don't say, this is what I do with confidence and with pride. Like, I've worked hard for it. I went to school for it. I've worked my experience, and I climbed up the ladder. And when somebody says to you, wow, so you are this, and you're like, you know, sometimes and I want us to stop the mumbling. And when somebody says, oh, are you a?
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, I am.
And when someone compliments you, say thank you.
Yeah.
Don't act surprised.
You like,
You
know?
say thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
are who you are. Yeah.
do you think we do that, ladies? Let's open the floor. Portia, you're opening. Thank you.
As women, I think we've been so comfortable in the humble space for a very long time, which is okay. But humble doesn't mean that you're not confident. I think there is a difference between humility and basically downplaying yourself. Humility is, you know the power that you have and you know who you are. However, you are still choosing to be humble, so that you are also inclusive in everything. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be confident. Humility is basically power under control, right? It's not pride. But it doesn't mean that I mustn't be confident in who I am. And for me, it's, as a woman, I work in a male-dominated space. And sometimes I walk into boardrooms and I'm the only woman. And I make it known that I am here. And I'm not just a pretty face, because the first thing that people make of me is, oh, she's just another pretty face. I am a pretty face with the brain, with the capability, and I am here, and I'm not going to be apologetic about it.
Tebogo, what's your take on that? Are we downplaying? Are we downplaying it? Playing it?
Aish, Buffett. Yeah, I can say that because I want to go industry. It's engineering. It's a lot of stuff that is happening. So, yeah, I'm a pretty face on a weekend, but during the week I'm not a pretty face. I do get down and do the nitty-gritty. And my one positive thing that I can say about myself is I'm a nurturer. I like to nurture because now I even have students in my department that I'm teaching and I'm grooming, and I'm so proud of that. And I like it. So, yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay, let me chip in there.
Yes, we always underestimate what we have achieved. You know why, Ria? It's because of what the society has come up with a description of what completes you as a woman. You must be having a child at a particular age. You must be married. Even if you have those qualifications, but lacking in these other descriptions, when you walk away, you know she doesn't have a child. That's how, it means you are never complete. Or you have got kids, you have got those qualifications, and you are bright, and they said, she's not married. And she has got kids, 4 kids with 4 different men. So there is always that labeling that accompanies us. But how many, have you ever had men talking about their wives and kids? No. But because that has been our language all along. When we are together, it's about my husband. You know my hubby. You know my hubby. But have you ever had your boss's maid talking about my wife like we do talk about my husbands and my partners? You know, it's when you are a divorcee, if you have achieved everything else, when you walk away, she's divorced. You always have have a description. So it's how society has described a complete woman to be. A complete woman is the one with kids, is the one with marriage, the one, even if you are that, then you tend to have some bit of confidence. But if you are still being called names, you tend to understand that, okay, maybe it's good enough. Your same qualification that we have, your boss have one, or like she said, had one quality, or maybe the same, but she will be more respected in having an MBA in Afrikaans than you having an MBA in technology. Yeah, he will be more respected. Hence, when I said UCT prof was saying, the society is comfortable when you are a woman leading an institution like UCT and doing excellently. You are always perceived with an eye of suspicion. Whom did she sleep with? Is she not a baby girl of Ramaphosa? Is he not a baby girl who I want to? But they would rather clap for the second best rather than clapping for you, even when the university is doing so well. To an extent that even the board where you report to will start asking, other than you being the UCT rector or principal, whom do you know in politics? But you are there, they appointed you. There's trust, they start the men of excellence that you exuding on the job, they start mistrusting who is your supporter, who's begging you. That's always with a woman. So do we understand? I think circumstances then pull us down. When those things come to our face, they pull us down, and we feel like, I don't feel adequate. Somebody with a junior degree, you having PhD and whatever, you seem to be silenced because of so many titles that not only women, other women, but your colleagues. And once other women enter the fray, you are done, because your bosses will start now taking the sides of this other women who looks at a divorcee, a woman with no child, a woman who's not married, and just somebody else. Then you lose your title.
Yeah, so I am a DVC. For me, I always say that my divorce was the greatest blessing, simply because I found myself. I did not find myself as somebody's wife, but I found who I am as a woman and as a complete being. And I'm not advocating for divorce, but society has created a notion that if you are divorced, there's something missing in you. And I want to bring it back to a point where I am operating in a space of ministry. So I want to bring it to the church environment, which is basically the space that I also operate in. Being a divorcee, you are looked at as an if you are not holy enough. You are looked at as an if you are not equipped enough to speak to women, because you are looked at as a failure, but a failure in whose eyes? A failure in whose eyes? For me, it's the anointing that I carry is not limited to simply being married, simply being anything, because I know who I am. And I know in the spiritual realm, I am a giant. But that is being overlooked because I'm not married. That is being overlooked. You walk into sessions and you can see that your capability is downplayed. So society has created those scenarios for us, even in churches and all of that. But another one that I also want to come back to, being young, one of the things that I face is, how did she get there? Who did she sleep with? Did you actually ask me what is my qualification? MBA in finance. Has anybody ever asked me? So it's those notions that people that are not willing to work, they will create an environment that, you know what, you're not good enough, you shouldn't be there. But I am challenging the status quo. For me, anything that doesn't fit into my world, I'm not going to be apologetic about it. I am a woman, I am here, and I'm proud of who I am.
I'm going to deviate a little bit in terms of downplaying, and I'm going to bring it to relationships. We tend to downplay our careers or whatever you are at work because we are deemed to be seen, if you are successful, we are deemed to be seen as being independent. And there's this perception that is going around from men saying, angimfuni umfazi or independent, forgetting that love doesn't come with conditions. You love a person unconditionally, whether they have an MBA in finance, whether they are a prosecutor, whether they're in ministry. Love has no conditions. So why should we feel that we have to downplay just because now ngumfazi or independent, indoda angeke ngithande? And like you're saying, sometimes as a woman it's okay to be alone and live up to your, yes, and be complete and live up to your standards. You don't have to drop your standards and downplay it. Sometimes it's okay to be alone. So yeah, it's always okay. It's always okay. Being alone it's okay. I'll give you guys an example, a personal example. I was in an abusive relationship for 4 years, and I was forced to downplay who I am. Hell, if I was coming here because it's a high tea, I wouldn't be allowed to come here because it's top class. But I was never raised in that manner. I was never taught to look down on myself. My dad always says, don't you ever drop your standards. Portray the woman that you are, and don't be sorry for who you are and what you are. So yeah, relationship, workplace, it happens in so many aspects, you know, and that some of the women are sorry about it. Why should we downplay it? It's okay to be alone. It's okay to walk the talk, look the part, be confident, speak the part.
Yeah, I do agree. You know, when you you're being introduced as, Grace, you said that she's not married. I think it's one of the tag that I've always had with me. And not only from the church, point of view of perspective, also in our families as well. You'd get your aunt introducing you that, oh, that is Ria. She is married with 3 kids. Oh, that's Mary Ann. She's got her own house, beautiful car, beautiful house. But you know what? She's not married. It's family, And at the same time, we underplay ourselves, especially in ministry. My experience, when I got into ministry, I was very young, and I remember that when I was admitted in the seminary school, I was the number 13, and I was the only woman who was admitted in that year. And when you are around those men, because it's ministry's main male domain, you need to underplay. And when you speak, out on, or when you challenge and when you engage, you're being perceived as arrogant, you're not humble, you're cheeky, and they will find a way, because it's a male domain, to suppress your gift, And I think when I left my previous church, it's because of those, being suppressed, that, now you're being, put aside. You're told that you should not, you won't be preaching anymore. You're just going to sit there on the bench or on the side, because when you are there, you challenge and you as you said, you change the status quo and you bring about new wine. And, men sometimes are so intimidated by that as well. Hence, now it causes us to, to downplay it. I remember one of my mentors, I'm like, I don't know. Every time, whenever, I go to preach somewhere, and then they would say, "Ooh, they brought us a woman," And after preaching, and then they were like, "Wow, you know what? It's it comes in small packages, And I remember they even said that to mom. I'm like, "Wow, your kid, when she was introduced, we're like, oh, and it's all men, in the council of church or elders. And after they're like, you know what? We underestimated her, because now it is not about, being young when I push you, and as you say that, you are young, and then you're like, oh, who did you sleep with, or maybe she's sleeping with a pastor, and I remember with me as well, my this church that I'm in, like, but why wasn't she excommunicated? Because she has the first child, she's not married, the second child, she's not married, and she's, like, now they're like, oh, okay, she's got 2 kids with different men, but she's still being ordained as a minister, why was she not, cut off? It's those things, but they don't understand, as Portia said, that the anointing upon you. And I always say, God has given me the grace. I'm able to I'm able to, how can I put it? I mean, I'm not married, but God has given me the grace to, to officiate marriages, It's my ministry, it's the gift that I have. But people always like, Muruti, osanyalwang, wanyadisa. It's those things. So we always find ourselves being like downplaying ourselves because the society downplays us as well.
All right, and I think another problem is where we come from. Like me, I come from a very abusive family. Like my dad was abusing my mom a lot. So it's like when you are used to that thing being around you, even if you see someone that is going through those things, it seems like you're pressing them down. You're not even lifting them up, you see. So it's like the environment that you're growing up in. And again, I'm trying my level best that I don't want my children to grow up the way that I grew up. I make sure that they get the excellent life if I can. I'm always praying that God help me.
Yeah, no, it's quite interesting. I just want to also come back to what Mary Ann was talking about, of people judging you because you have 2 kids with different fathers. You are not God. People are not God. And I don't know why we are so judgmental, because Jesus died on the cross for our sins. This salvation, it was a gift to you as a person. So why are you in a position to judge another person if it was only given to you as a gift? Jesus meets the woman at the well, and he does not judge her. And he even says that even the man that you are with today, he's not even yours. But do you know what was the greatest miracle? The Bible says she went about telling everyone about the man that she has met that was different from all the other men. So sometimes it's church, we are so consumed in our own doctrine and our religion that we are actually sending people back. And if only we would embrace them, then they will see the Jesus in us, and that will actually transform people. And God was so good at it. The woman that was found in adultery, what happened? It was, everyone said stone the woman, but clearly she was not alone. Right? And the emphasis is on the woman. Who has ever questioned that the other side of things? But no, it is only the woman. The gospel that we preach, we are quite selective, because the gospel of Jesus Christ is a gospel of forgiveness. It is a gospel of you renewing
Pardoning
yourself.
each other,
It is a
pardoning each
gospel
other.
of love, and of not definitely not of judgment. So, yeah.
I think the other part that that is like very interesting is we find other women being the first to say this, being the first to do this, being the first, like, I remember just a simple thing as to wearing a skirt that is above your knee. Guys, I promise you that's gonna irritate me, that's gonna kill my spirit. And I said, what is wrong with my knees? What is wrong with my knees? I'm appropriate. I'm showing my knees. I'm not showing my thighs. What is wrong with my knees? And I would understand. I know exactly where to go, what to wear, where. But it's the woman that will judge you first. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and instilling these ideas that nobody actually was like thinking of. Yeah. We're not even embracing ourselves. Yo, abantu basafa vali kiss. I always say to people, dear, what are you gonna do, more kiss? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna fix it? How? You can't fix it. So embrace it. Like, yes, I'm showing my knees, and they're like that. I cannot fix them. Do you get me? They are just like that. I won't deal. I'm like, girl, look at me moving around, Baba. You know? So it's women that will cast the first stone all the time. You know? And that brings me to this topic of, do men believe in us? Do men believe in us? Because I can hear women are like, but do men believe in us? Do men believe in us? Come. Let's hear it. Tebogo, do men believe? You work in the male-dominated space. Oh, okay, Mbali, go. And then after Tebogo, while I bid farewell to Grace. Thank you so much for coming through.
All right. So for me, I always take it back to. All right. So to me, I always take it back to where you come from, how you grew up. Society also plays a huge role. Before you're an employee, you're a person first. Before you go to university or primary, you first a child to two parents. So you grow up in an environment where a male is superior, and as a female, you don't have a voice. Obviously, the very same boy child who grew up in that environment will also be like that in the working environment, where when they see a successful a female or a woman, they'll still see umfazi, nothing else. Despite your qualifications or experience, they'll still see umfazi, nothing else. So the respect is not there, it's just tolerance from males.
It's a two-way thing. I think they believe in us, ne? But again, if you don't believe in yourself, again, it's a problem. You must believe in yourself first before someone else can believe in you. And again, as I was saying that my dad was very abusive. I only find out when I grew up that this is a trend. Like where he comes from, there was an abuse of some sort. So an abuser always abuses. So it's a chain. So someone needs to break that chain. I don't know how or where, but I made a vow to myself that I'm not gonna be on that chain with my family, with my children. My children has to know like how life is, and like and a healthy life, not like to be intimidated by people or taking themselves, I mean, having a low self-esteem, baska ikutlwisisa hore ke bo mang, just because of other people being around them or wanting to do whatever that they want to do. So in a working industry, always men are intimidated by women because we try, Rena, we do it double. I'm telling you, you prove yourself 2 times when you have to do something. So it's like they can't give you a pat on the back, Mara. They know that you are good. Understand? And they don't want you, or like, but realize, or no, Teboho can do this until so far, but they won't give you credit where it's due. They will always tell somebody behind your back. Then you'll hear somebody, or hey, your boss says stuff like this about you. Then why doesn't he come to me and tell me that I'm good in what I'm doing? So they believe in us, but they're afraid to embrace us because they know that, a woman, you give anything to a woman will make it grow. That's why we have a womb.
Yeah. I think I think you're actually right. To a certain extent, men do believe in us to a certain extent. Because we keep on not believing in ourselves, and they keep on luring us with that notion of, if I keep on telling her that she's not good enough, she's not doing this enough. I mean, going back to your story, Teboho, where you were dismissed at work because you were pregnant, and guys, it does happen, and it does happen not only from woman to woman but with men. So you go have your kids, and when you come back, your level of respect or stature is almost like compromised when you get there. You get there, how you've been working for years, and you qualify for you to get this promotion just because you were maybe you sat down because you went to maternity. It's now a problem for you to come back and actually occupy the position. So it's those things, but those things, they don't only come from men.
Yeah.
Those things come from women as well. How often would you find maybe a staff member or yourself, you call it work and you're like, my child is sick, but before you call that your child is sick, or rounda kontlungu, you're like, yeah, they're gonna think I'm not good enough for this job, I'm not strong enough for this job, because I'm going through what we call life.
Yes.
Yeah. How often do we get there?
Yeah.
So how can we fix that? How can we as women come closer and make men understand that if you employ me as a woman, I'm going to be married, I'm going to get pregnant, or I'm going to have periods, I'm going to go through certain things that women go through, without us compromising our positions or our, I don't know what to put it, our growth within the business. How can we do that?
I think you must just.
I think it's just doing just one thing. You must always stand your ground. Remain firm. Don't let any other person intimidate you. into any saying, anything that you're going to say, or any decision that you're going to be taking. It's just remaining firm and standing your ground. That's all.
Yeah, I remember when I came back from maternity, because I went through the CCMAs and the labor courts, then I won the case. Then when I had to come back to work, it was bad. The environment changed. Like, the relationship was bad. It was ruined, So luckily, the company closed down. So they retrenched us. But I saw that going forward, I was going to look for another job, seriously, because the relationship was bad. And with guys being our managers and stuff, it's not only them. What I don't understand is why, if a guy manager talks to a lady manager, they're discussing you are the lady manager, you understand that I'm a woman, I go through A, B, C, and D, and I have to have a child in some time. You cannot employ me in an engineering industry, and then you think I'm what? I won't get any children. Because usually they even label you, they say I'm a lesbian or stuff. So not that being a lesbian is a bad thing, but they say, they always ask about your sexuality. Do you really have feelings? Like, do you, seriously, I'm telling you, the guys in my work area, they'll ask you silly questions. Like, and they even come to you, like I'm their sis Dolly again. They come and ask you about my sexuality, and they come and ask me if my wife does this, Seriously.
Yeah, I think what's important is to educate. I think that's where we play a part as HR, where we educate our leaders, we educate our employees also. I think that's very key. That's the only way, anyway, things can change, through the way we educate. Also, like Tibu had said, standing your ground. I'm in an HR space, and as HR, you conduct interviews. You are sitting next to this qualified candidate who ticks all the boxes. But then they will say, I need someone who's going to hit the ground rolling. You can see this one's going to go away in 6 months. So I can't have someone like that. So, and I think with me, I've always said, obviously, like I've said, your character, who you are at home, even also at work. I always stand up for what's right and for the truth. And it's not easy if you're in HR. I'm not sure if you can attest to this. I'm always crucified. There was a time where a manager wrote charges for me as HR, whereas I write charges for people. So I've been through a lot for standing up for the truth. And I've been moved around. I think at where I am, in fact, it's a fact. I'm the only HR person that has moved through so many divisions where I work because of who I am, where people will feel threatened. People will say, you are against what we're trying to achieve as a business. But once you stand up for the truth, people they respect you regardless. That's what I've realized, that once you stand up for what's right and you do what is right, as much as people will push against you, but they have respect for you. Even now, I can sit in any boardroom, but people will listen to what I have to say because they know my ethics. And obviously, I know my story. So standing up for what's right and also to educate the business is very key.
I'll go back to what Mama Grace has said. Legislation.
Yeah.
Legislation. Because in HR, there's nothing that you can do if that thing is not legislated. One, you check, you cannot be employed and have a letter without your conditions of employment. You first have to read that letter and see whether these conditions are going to suit me or they're not going to suit me. Because they give you 5 days before you can accept. Did you read, or you just saw the 6 digits and you are content with the 6 digits, and you don't know after the 6 digits What's going to happen after the 6 digits? There's life beyond the 6 digits. So do you know the types of leave that you qualify for? Do you know what you qualify for or what you don't even qualify for? Check everything so that before you accept, you know that I am accepting, I know my conditions of employment. So that you don't find yourself in issues where you're saying, you don't qualify for this type of leave. Why did you take this type of leave? Know the types of leave that you qualify for. Know that you have 4 months maternity. It's not negotiable. You don't have to negotiate with anyone. It is your right as a woman to say 4 months, you go stay home and enjoy the bundle of joy and come back. It is your right. So there are things that you need to know. What is right for me? What is wrong for me? And that you can only find in reading. Portia said it to say, it is not only the Bible that you must read. Make sure that when you read those legislations, I always say, I am not going to read your acts. Because when I read those acts, they must be aligned to the correct acts of God. Because anything which is an act or anything which is a collective agreement, which is something against what God said should happen, you are not at the right place. So they always discriminate me. I know, and I don't even mind. Because they would say, I think I am God. No, I'm saying, no, I am the image of God.
Yes.
And for sure, I will walk like God and I will talk like Him.
Yes.
Your acts must be aligned to God's acts.
Yes.
So if your acts are against God's acts, so we're not going to be good human resource. Then I would say to them, you are forgetting that you are saying human resource. This resource, as we are working with these resources of God, let us make sure that we are connected to the correct source. Because He is the source and we are resources. And we are working with these resources. For us to do what is right, we need to be connected to the source. As we are human resource practitioners or managers, believe you me, we have changed so many things. And they would say, and I give mama. So I'm saying, the source, the wisdom I have doesn't come from me. Make no mistake. Because I ask Him to say, there's no way. There is no way. Everything has to be written. Because we don't have time to tell them that you have 5 days for this, you have 2 days for this, you have 36 days for leave, you for sick. We can't. Legislate them on their contract so that they know what is pertained in their contract. They don't just accept the letter with 6 digits and the manager is signing and then that's it. Let the conditions be there. Every letter in our fraternity has got the conditions of employment. So you just come and ask, how do I go about? Because I have seen what is in the letter. So when I want to do this, how do I go about? That is our duty as HR. That is our duty.
Thank you. I think also one day I would really love to see, especially with women in the workplace, where childcare is made a service from the state, a free service that's mandatory for any woman of any status, socioeconomic status or class that can go leave her child, know that he or she is safe, and go about their workday. I think in many ways the world doesn't support us and how we function. Just from like small things in the fact that what we wear is so policed, how we dress, what we can wear, what we can't wear, what's professional, what's not professional, how we behave, it's also policed. So much of our function is just cut out from our workspaces. So yeah, I'd love to see the day where those two things are synonymous. Yeah.
Awesome stuff, guys. Awesome stuff. We are wrapping it up.
We are wrapping it up.
Yeah, we're calling it a day.
Yes.
But before we call it a day, I would like Mama Lifu just to bringing it together for us. I think there are women in the Bible that have faced what we faced. I don't think it started now in 2022. It started years and years ago. And how can we find strength and believe that we will go past this? How can we, withdraw and know that I know because I can hold on to that lady in the Bible that did this and this and this, and they came through, and it worked out for them. So we just need hope at the moment, because we're living at a time where we almost feel that we as black women, we are doubting ourselves. I always say, yes, Women's Day ingeyinani kuphela. Because after that, they're just throwing us off. How do we consistently become conscious about our day-to-day impact on each other as women,
Yeah.
of all the races,
Yeah.
and just day-to-day as women
Living
of
our
power,
Yeah.
women of excellence,
Yeah.
women that know who they are,
Yeah. Yeah.
and be accepting of we are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ria. I just picked women that went through stuff in the Bible. I'm not going to read the scriptures, I'm just going to relate to women that went through stuff that we're going through daily. I started with Penina and Hannah in the book of Samuel. Penina, the word of God says, Hannah would go through hell because of Penina, because Hannah couldn't give birth to any child. But going through that, Hannah knew her stand. She knew her stand. Yes, she would be miserable because the flesh would tell you to say, you are weak. But the inner person, when you look at Hannah, the inner person had strength. Had strength. Because even in the times where she was miserable, she wouldn't dare show it to Penina. The only person that could see was the husband. To say, what is it that is bothering you? I love you so much. I am doing everything for you. I am doing this for you and this for you, but you still don't look okay. But Hannah knew the source. And she knew that if I can just go to the source, I am going to get what I want. Because sometimes we look at them doing this, and you envy them. To say, if I can look like Tebogo, if I can look like Portia. Remember, if you want to look like Portia, you must go through what Portia went through. They don't know. Yes, so they don't know. So Penina and Hannah, it's one story that makes me to understand, to say, it is not about what we see, but it is about knowing who you are and what you stand for and what you want. Hannah knew that all she wants is that child. She didn't even say many. Like Penina was giving birth. If it was every day, it would be every day. But it was every year, just to spite Hannah. And Hannah didn't say, I also want many. But she prayed to say, if you can just give me. If you can just give me. And when you give me, I will dedicate. But the mistake that we do, whatever that God has given us, it's us only. I cannot share. It's us. But with her, she said, if you can give me, it was a sign of saying, it doesn't belong to you. Share with the next person what you have. Like now we are sharing what we know, what we have learned with our experiences. So that I don't keep that to myself. But the next person must know what I know. We are sharing. I also went to Rachel and Leah, which is another mistake that is happening. Remember, Jacob loved. She didn't love. So if you go there, you must know that you are not loved. They will only come to you if maybe I have a problem and if maybe I'm going through something. So they'll only come to you that time. So be careful and know who you are. Are you a Rachel or are you a Leah? Because if you are that one that is going to be used, you are going to be used. You will be used because that person doesn't love you.
Oh, that is the
The
truth.
person is just coming to you because maybe there's some problems or maybe there's tula session between me and him and he knows that there's that one. Then he will come to you. So be careful who you are. You must know. You must know whether you love me or you don't love me. The confidant, Portia spoken to people that you can talk to when you have issues. I love the story of Elizabeth and Mary. Mary, young as she was, she had an elder confidante. Sometimes it's not advisable to have a confidante that is your same age, because that will provoke jealousy in that confidante. Because everything and anything, they will take it to say, I am going to rise above her. Remember,
Wow.
you bringing the problems that you have to the same age, you telling her the same things, you telling her the challenges maybe that you have with your boyfriend or your husband, or then you are giving the person an ammunition
Wow.
to see your weaknesses and to defeat you with the same weaknesses. That is why today we have friends that are not friends anymore, because the friend went in. Who opened the door? It's you. Make sure that your confidante is somebody that is older than you, so that you know that you are sure that whatever I'm confiding to this person is in the closet. It's not going to come out. But your same age, there's going to be a problem, a big problem, because they will defeat you. You are giving them ammunition to say, how am I going to defeat this one? I've been jealous, but I didn't know how to get her. But now she comes close to me and she tells me
Wow.
everything.
Wow.
She pours her heart to me. And we
Wow.
are saying, my friend, I'm going to pour my heart to you. Don't pour your heart to your friend. Elder confidante. Hence the book of Titus is saying, elder women, teach the young ones.
Yes.
I
Please.
think that book would say, no, teach one another. It is saying, teach the young ones. So make sure that you choose the right confidante to confide to when you have your own problems. Then we have this one, Jezebel. Are you able to see the Jezebel in your life? Or are you able to see the Jezebel in your cycle? Because Jezebel will deceive you. Jezebel will manipulate you. Jezebel would be sick now and say, Poshi, come please. But Jezebel's car is parked. And Jezebel can drive herself to the clinic or wherever. But she will call you and say, come and drive me to wherever, to wherever. That person is deceiving you. That spirit is there. And we need to be careful of the Jezebels of today. We still have the Jezebels. They will use you. They will manipulate you. A person having 1,000 rand in the purse, but asking for money from you when the person is having money.
That hit everyone here.
Let us be careful of those people in our circle of people that we share our lives with. Then we have those two intelligent women that I love, Abigail and the Shunammite woman. They were so intelligent. They were so intelligent. And you know, when you read about them, they were so defensive. They would defend anyone and everyone in their cycle. To say, no one will die while I am here. No one will suffer while I am here. No one will do this and this because I am here. They did it. And when you check Abigail, the nation was supposed to be destroyed. But because of her, that nation survived. When you check the Shunammite woman, she got back everything that they owned with their husband. Because of everything good that she did. The last girls that I love so much, because when I read that scripture, they remind me of the women in 1956, the daughters of Zelophehad, in Numbers 27. They stood their ground to say, no one is going to take our father's land because we are girls. No. We are going to inherit like boys inherit. And they fought. And everything that was legislated was changed. Because of them. They fought for their rights. They knew that not that because they are girls, they cannot inherit. It wasn't their fault that their father didn't have a son. So why do we have to allow things happen to us because we are saying we are girls? We are. Why? The women in 1956. I'm closing just saying what type of women we need to be. Because sometimes we are making a mistake of getting married to a mistake or getting married to a date, not a destiny. You must be married to a destiny, not a date. Make sure that whoever that marries you is a destiny, not a date. In closing, I've learned and defined to say a woman is not defined by the way she dresses, but she is defined by her character. A strong woman works out every day to keep her body in shape, but a woman of strength kneels in prayer to keep her soul in shape. A strong woman isn't afraid of anything, but a woman of strength shows courage in the midst of her fear. When she's fearful, she shows courage. She shows courage to say, I can still go on and on. A strong woman won't let anyone get the best of her. That is a strong woman. But a woman of strength gives the best to everyone. Gives the best of her to everyone. A strong woman makes mistakes and avoids the same in the future. But a woman of strength realizes life's mistakes can also be God's blessings and capitalizes on them. To say my mistake, God did it deliberately. And I am going to work out my best in this very mistake. A strong woman walks sure-footedly, but a woman of strength knows God will catch her when she falls. Because this one, when she breaks, no one is going to catch her. Because everybody would say, oh, shame. A strong woman wears the look of confidence on her face, but a woman of strength wears grace. A strong woman has faith that she is strong enough for the journey, but a woman of strength has faith that it is in the journey that she will become strong. In the journey, you become strong. You don't just become strong because you are taking something in the journey, because you know that this journey needs what? You'll have the right things for the right journey. You'll have the right things for every step you take. Imagine hiking with the stilettos that we are wearing today. You cannot go hiking with the stilettos. So make sure that what you are wearing is right for the journey that you're going through. Thank you.
What wonderful words.
I'm paralyzed, man.
Wonderful words. Don't
I'm
you want to
selling
be
the show to
a woman of strength?
like. Tell me about it, hey?
It is. Yeah.
The show. We need to set the show.
Sell
We need to
it.
sell it to Mama Lifu. Like really.
I'll be
she
co-hosting
killed
her
it.
show next time then.
We are blessed, women of woke. We are blessed. We are awakened.
Yeah.
We are fed. We are strengthened.
Yeah.
We are just woke
Yes.
about life and
Yes.
life's challenges as women.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's our elder Bupilo Mabunda. Hashtag Malifu. We are blessed to have you in our midst.
Hashtag wisdom.
Hashtag wisdom.
Yes.
Hashtag woman of strength.
Yeah.
Like we can call.
There was nothing said. That was not true.
Yeah.
Nothing said.
For the young and old, the wise and foolish.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody will take a lot from this session.
Yeah.
Anything from your side as we wrap up?
I want to say thank you
Yeah, it was
for having
awesome.
us here, for feeding us,
Oh,
giving us drinks.
what?
Yes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it was an honor. And I'd be lucky, so lucky to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the two Rias of the day that have been driving the show and co-piloting this segment of Women of Excellence. Do tune in on my YouTube channel, that is Work Riasia.
Yes.
Follow me on Twitter, W
them,
underscore
plug
Riasia. Of course, Instagram, why not? Riabetsu Yika. And on Facebook, you should know this by now, Riabetsu Siabela. So stay tuned and we will see you on our next segment in September. Ooh.
Allah, Allah. Bye, guys.
All right. Yeah, ladies, welcome to our second segment of Women of Excellence.